All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the fourth and final Dawson Quarterly Live of 2019. Over the next hour, we will get year-to-date sales updates from Allie Tribby, and Jeff Miller will tell us more about the changes we are making to help grow the office and professional divisions. Felicia Wilson will provide updates on the success of our digital advertising campaigns, as well as great things happening in our communities with our workforce programs. She'll also give us a sneak peek about upcoming events, including the Doskers. And Becky Fromkes will announce some exciting changes that we're making to hopefully make your work life at Dawson even better. First, we would like to welcome new faces who have joined Dawson since the last time we were all together. Stand or wave when I call your name. Alex McCluskey, recruiter for our office and customer service division. Alex? Let's see, okay, she's in the back. You can, or wave. You can wave or stand. Carly Graves, account manager. Yay. Cassie Ritchie, experience coordinator for the home office. Kara Fortman, recruiter for the marketing and creative division. Danielle Paquette, staffing coordinator for Premier Health, Dawson MSP. And Bill McDermott, director, Premier Health, Dawson MSP. We also met our Krista Ray work-study students for the 2019-2020 school year on August 21st at Krista Ray Draft Day. Hopefully you've all had a chance to meet them. Matt Lena Jamichu, she's a freshman. Michael Smith, sophomore. Ayana Fortson, our junior, and last but not least, Douglas McDonald, our senior. Make sure to pick up a copy of the send-out on your way out this morning to read a little bit more about each of them. We have lots to celebrate throughout the meeting today, including some weddings and engagements a little bit later, but first we have some employment anniversaries to recognize. Clay Miller celebrated his 5-year anniversary with Dawson on September 29th. And Sarah Heim celebrated her 5-year anniversary on October 7th. And a big one to celebrate, Kristen Dutton celebrated her 15th anniversary at Dawson on September 26th. And as you all know, with the job market the way it is, we're always looking to hire great people for our team. So if you guys know or meet anyone who you think would be a good fit for our Dawson culture, we are currently interviewing for recruiters for the office and customer service division and the accounting and finance division. Send referrals for office recruiters to Lindsay Taylor. Referrals for accounting and finance go to Emily Marshall. Remember, you will receive a $1,000 bonus for any full-time colleague you refer and after they've completed 6 months at Dawson. And now to get the meeting started, Allie Tribby is here with sales updates.
Good morning. Overall, as a company, we're down about 6% from 2018. With a decrease in business needs and orders from a couple of our key clients, our numbers are down a little bit over 2018, as you can see. This graph might not look so positive, but we'll talk through some of the reasons behind some of these numbers, and Jeff will join us later to talk more about where we can make up ground in 2020. We'll start with our warehouse and distribution division. Our orders from Ariel and L Brands are both down. Ariel, our top client in the Mount Vernon branch, has temporarily stopped production due to market demand. And as we all know, L Brands has been in the news with the struggles facing retail in general, and they've shifted their recruitment strategy to include less temporary labor, which obviously affects us. With a drop in demand in these clients, within 2 weeks we were able to secure business with Eddie Bauer to make up for a lot of that lost ground. In 2 weeks, we placed over 200 associates and 2 internal on-sites on this partner account. So awesome job to everyone on the team for getting all these people placed, and especially to Evan Lees for jumping in and managing the Eddie Bauer account as if he's been in the role for years. With Mount Vernon's needs decreasing, Anita Shaw, who continues to lead the team in gross profit, raised her hand to step up and help accounting and finance with a huge Cardinal Health project when the team was short-staffed. Thanks for being a team player, Anita. And finally, I want to recognize Andrew Demers for his initiative as on-site manager at Lululemon. When Andrew came into the role, we were supplying about 1/3 of the warehouse staff at Lulu. His goal was to increase that number to 45%, and right now we are at 57% in just one quarter. He's done this by taking it upon himself to look through Bullhorn and review non-working associates, and works with the recruiters to coordinate and sometimes interview and onboard them himself. It's exactly what teamwork and leadership looks like. Creative continues to be up 15%, it looks like, year over year. Stephanie King continues to kill it with 38 starts in Q3, which is huge in the marketing and creative division. Her GP is up 42% year over year, and these are all her associates. Not a single one was handed to her through the division's transition, so awesome job, Stephanie. We also had a goal to grow partnership clients within this division in 2019, and Lane Bryant has grown 24% year over year. Lastly, we are hosting an American Advertising Federation event in November, and hosting these types of events will help us continue to grow these partnership clients. Accounting and finance, we know that this is not a bright spot on the sales graph, which is why we had to make some tough changes over the past few years. Jeff will share more about our plans to grow the professional divisions later in the meeting. However, Cardinal Health has a bright spot for this division, thanks to Lori for her leadership on the account side and Rachel Tritt on the recruiting side. With no recruiting experience and no team to lead on, Rachel hit the ground running and had 85 submissions for the Cardinal account in just a few short weeks. Thank you, guys. And office and call center, division's down just a little bit, about 5%, but I look at this as good news because we were making up ground for the loss of the BMW account. And while we're down as a whole, each recruiter is up over 20% year over year, so that's a huge accomplishment. MSP continues to be 7% above budget with increased locums usage led by Kristen Dutton. And in the send-out, you can read more about an exclusive invitation Kristen got to join a client advisory panel for temporary clinical staffing. We secured more compliance business at Nationwide Children's Hospital, so that continues to be a growth account for the division. And Ohio Health usage is holding steady due to the continued partnership that the IT team has developed with MSP and the client. Almost half of the usage at Ohio Health is because of IS positions, which is business we didn't even have a year ago. And lastly, a few business updates. I know that you guys have all heard chatter that we've closed on a few real estate transactions over the past few months. A warehouse just south of I-70 and Bryce Road will serve as our Reynoldsburg hiring office for the warehouse and distribution division, as well as a training center for forklift certifications. We expect a spring opening date at this location, and we also purchased the Barley's property next door. Includes the restaurant space and parking lots to the west and north of the building. Barley's will continue to lease the restaurant, so unfortunately we can't make menu changes or transition anyone to bartending roles or anything like that. But this will create more parking for our staff and opportunity for Dawson as a whole. And then in the next month or so, we'll be rolling out Concur, which is an expense tracking software. Look for more information on training and our expense policies and procedures, which includes a user-friendly app to submit your expense reports. Now, Felicia is here to update us on our community workforce programs and other marketing initiatives.
Thanks, Allie. Hope you're feeling better. So most of our community workforce programs have been really focused on high school and college students, but we have started outreach to the middle school level. And we just completed a middle level career exploration event for all three Hilliard City School District middle schools. So this 3-day event provided all 7th and 8th graders the opportunity to see 3 different career exploration pathways. So these presentations weren't given by us. We partnered with our client and community partners, including BMW. They brought an i8, it's an i8 that the kids really liked. We also had Worthington Industries, Baseman Marketing, Crawford Hoying, and the goal was really just to introduce these students to different careers and then give them an idea of the pathways that they need to follow to get to these careers. Most of the kids were really engaged. They were asking a lot of questions. However, we do have some funny highlights. There was a group of boys who were definitely not interested in making money for a career. They were actually playing poker in the back, so they were making their money that way. And then in one of the breakouts in the gym, there was a couple in the back that were just, really having a good time making out. So But that doesn't matter. Details. But really, overall, the kids are really engaged. I have a 12-year-old who doesn't go to that school, but a different school, and he was there, and he's pretty critical of his mom. And so I asked him, he said, you know, Mom, it actually wasn't that bad. So that's definitely a win coming from a 12-year-old. Thanks to Mary, who planned, coordinated, and executed the event. It totaled 54 presentations, and we reached over 1,800 students. So, we also executed our first annual Central Ohio Workforce Summit. This we co-hosted with the Chamber and the Workforce Development Board of Central Ohio. We had nearly 100 HR professionals here for the half-day event. We learned a lot of great insight from our 2 panel discussions. I think one big key takeaway that they discussed was that schools are starting to focus on more of career pathways as opposed to just post-secondary education. So they're asking students, getting them thinking about what they want to do and what careers they're interested in, as opposed to focusing on where they want to go to school. So we're definitely doing our part to help educate students and parents about all these career opportunities and the businesses here in our market. We also heard from Dr. David Harrison, who's the president of Columbus State. He was our keynote. And he reinforced the change in the way that education and employment are working together. More and more students are balancing work and school. And that's where our Career Kickstart program comes into play. That's our tuition reimbursement program. So we're supporting those students who need to balance school and work. Quick update on our program. This year we've received over 325 applicants to our program. We've had over 100 starts. We currently have 51 working associates, and an additional 13 have been hired permanently with one of our clients. So anyway, lots of information about community workforce programs. I know many of you may be interested in helping us with volunteering at one of our programs, or just learning more about how you can promote our programs to our job seekers and our clients. So we'll be doing a power training at the annual meeting in January. And a quick shout out to Rachel and Margie, who helped us for the first time this past quarter at some of our community workforce programs. So I think Mary has a gift for you guys. Quick update on our website. We launched in late July, and since our launch, our Bullhorn applications are up 63%. We attribute that to a more streamlined, user-friendly application, and then also all of the integration with our job board partners and that's coming into Bullhorn. So, and then quickly after we launched our website, we launched a digital campaign to support our peak season business. We've received over 600 applications for the warehouse and distribution division in approximately 8 weeks. And so that will continue to help support peak business this fall. And now the holiday update. We are super excited that our building will be very festive again this year at Dawson. We're going to light up the building, thanks to David and for spearheading this glowing gift that we'll receive. So everyone will see how festive and how much Dawson holiday spirit we have. But our biggest initiative for the holidays is our toy drive. For those of you who haven't been here for our toy drive, we do an internal toy drive, and then we also ask our clients to participate and do their own toy drives, and then we take the Dawson bus, and it's our goal to fill up the bus with toys. Last year we collected over 1,000 toys, and this year, with the help of the Community Champions Committee, we definitely want to beat our numbers from last year. And we're super excited for the first time to be partnering with our client, Nationwide Children's Hospital. So we'll be donating toys to all the patients there this year. So we're excited about that. So more information will be in the November sendout, including a contest, some volunteer opportunities here and at the hospital, as well as like donation wish lists, what these kiddos want. We'll also solicit our clients' participation and we'll be sending out invites next week. And then we will be hosting Brunch with Santa on Saturday, December 7th. It's not just for the kiddos, so please feel free to stop by with your friends or your kids or your dogs or whoever you want to bring. In addition to photos with Santa, which our Santa is really good. It's better than any mall Santa. He's real, and Mrs. Claus comes too, and she's real cute and sweet. But we have like face painting and balloon artists and crafts. So it's a fun event. And then after Santa departs, we'll be loading up the bus with all the toys, and that's the day that Children's Hospital has their toy drive. So there'll be some volunteer opportunities for those of you who want to help. And last but not least, the Doskers. I know many of you are focused more on what you want to wear to the Doskers, but first will be nominations. So please start thinking about who you'd like to nominate to receive a Dosker. Those nomination requests will go out in the December sendout. And now I'd like to welcome my Dawson co-host, Ryan, up for the entertainment portion of today's meeting. But any entertainment ideas you have for the Doskers, please let Ryan know.
Yeah, if you don't write jokes about yourself, I write them for you. So we know how that went last year. Some of us do. All right, time for the warm and fuzzy. But first of all, it's first Friday night Big Ten game for Ohio State. So I have to do the obligatory OH. That was really weak. OH. Tough crowd. All right, first we want to acknowledge our excellent quarterly bonus recipients for Q3. As you know, we send out all kinds of surveys to all of our job seekers once they come through the doors at Dawson, and then again as they're on their assignment and after they have left. So we get all kinds of feedback. And for the recruiters and experience coordinators, they can earn a quarterly bonus if they get enough feedback back, and if it is good. So I would like to recognize 3 people this morning. First of all, Margie Long with a 100% excellent rating. Congrats to Margie. I don't know that we've ever had 100% before. That's super exciting. So she did just a skosh better than Lindsay Taylor, who had a 99% excellent rating. Apparently only one job seeker called from a wind tunnel that last quarter. And finally, Luisa Molina with a 93% excellent rating. So congrats to the 3 of you. As you know, a great way to tell your coworkers that they are giving you an excellent experience as a colleague is with Good to the Core cards. So we've got a few of those that we'd like to play for you right now.
I wanted to acknowledge Rachel Tritt's dedication and commitment to the
All right, and you know what time it is. If you wrote or received a Good to the Core card, come on down because we have prizes for you. Not all at once. It's almost like we're bribing you guys to write Good to the Core cards. All right. First of all, tell us your name and where you're from.
Jolynn, I'm from Pataskala.
And Jolynn from Pataskala, do you have a Halloween costume ready for next weekend?
No.
What was your favorite Halloween costume as a child?
I texted my mom. I'm like, Mom, go through the albums, find me a picture. And because I was the third child, there's no pictures.
I can relate, and so can Nancy. Nancy said the same thing. So, all right, here on this board we have 8 envelopes with gift cards in them, so you can select one with fabulous cash and prizes. You can open it now. Yeah, because we're nosy and we want to know what you got. Looks like Starbucks. Jolynn's going to Starbucks, and she's got to go to the core card so she can pay it forward. See what we did there? You're welcome. Angie?
Yes.
What was your favorite costume as a child?
I would have to say probably when I was a football player.
Pick a letter. That's cool, because I was probably a cheerleader that year, so. And it looks like,
Going to Starbucks.
oh, everyone's going to Starbucks. I think those were actually the only 2. So, Rachel, you're gonna have a little one for Halloween next year. What's your baby's first Halloween costume gonna be?
Oh, that's a great question.
Haven't thought that far.
Taking suggestions.
All right, go ahead and pick one of the letters that is left. And Rachel is taking us to, drumroll, Bibi Bop for lunch. Can you give us your name and where you're from?
My name's Lori. I'm from Fremont, Ohio.
What happens in Fremont this time of year?
A lot of things.
I bet. Which gift card are you going to select? All right. And Lori, I hope they have whatever you're getting in Fremont. They do not have an Aladdin's in Fremont. You'll have to use that here. And now here to represent the MSP division. Are we partying this weekend, next weekend for Halloween?
I'm not.
No.
My daughter's told me I'm going to be a unicorn.
Oh, that sounds fun. All right, step on up, Larson. What's it going to be? It's all right. Larson's going to be caffeinated as well, and she's going to Starbucks. And the newest member of the team to write a good to the core card. How long have you been here?
Oh, God. August 12th?
Since August. And what's your favorite thing about Dawson so far, besides Nancy?
Dang it. Honestly, the people. Just everybody's been so fantastic.
All right, let's get a round of applause for that. And then you have 3 options left.
All right. Aladdin.
All right, Danielle's going to Aladdin's too. Maybe you guys can have a party. I'll send my Starbucks order with whomever. How's that? As Catherine mentioned earlier, we did welcome our new and returning Cristo Rey students back in August, so hopefully you've all got a chance to meet them. And you might recognize one of the faces, Michael Smith, who is a sophomore. He returned and was here last year. He's really learned a lot about Dawson and the history of the company and what we do, and he was really inspired that he wanted to write this rap about his experience at Dawson thus far. So buckle up for this one. I think the other Cristo Rey students have some talent to match in the Doskers. Can't wait to see what they come up with there. I want to recognize a couple of colleagues with personal celebrations over the last quarter. First of all, Vivian. Vivian's a mother-in-law. Aww. Her daughter got married. Jeremy Banks and his wife Allison got married on September 6th. Congrats to you two. If you haven't seen Lindsay Taylor's Instagram story 42 times a day, you don't know that she got engaged and that the ring is pretty small. You should ask her to see it. Congrats, Lindsay. And Phil's mom celebrated her 96th birthday. This was fun. Phil's mom's favorite dessert is lemon cake. So in true Dawson fashion, we could not get her one lemon cake. We got her 96 lemon cakes that she could share with her friends. So that was fun. All right, I asked a lot of questions about Halloween costumes over there, and you know that we asked you to submit pictures of yourself in Halloween costumes as children, and we wanted to share a couple of those with you so we can keep the oohs and ahs and warm and fuzzies going here. And now Spotify thinks that I want to listen to Kids Bop all the time. Super excited about that. As promised, if you submitted your Halloween costume as a child, you are entered in a drawing to win tickets for next Saturday's Ohio State Wisconsin game, which is at noon, which I'm told is super lame. I don't really understand. But anyway, we're going to get a drum roll. And Nancy's going to draw the winner. Becky Fromke's. You're going to the shoe. I don't have the tickets. We'll get them for you next week. Speaking of costumes, we have some new costumes here at Dawson that we want to show off. We're going to have a little fashion show up here to break up the morning. So if my models could make their way to the stage. All right, so you see our community champions and wellness committees have on our new community champions t-shirts. So who's not wearing something over it? Morgan, you get to turn around and show everyone the back. I'm a Dawson community champion with a little Dawson logo on the side. So these are new t-shirts to wear to obviously community champions events. Great for races if you want to sport the Dawson brand. Also job fairs. We kind of wanted something that was a little more flexible and less community championsy. So while I've got all the committees up here, I'm going to find out what's going on with everyone too. So Katie's going to be our spokesperson for the community champions. Katie, what is your Halloween costume this year? I know that you go all out.
Goodness, no, to be determined.
Does the dog have a Halloween costume?
Absolutely.
What is that?
He's going to be a hot dog, pretty original.
Never seen that before. Okay, so tell us what you guys are up to this Sunday.
This Sunday is the Nationwide Children's Hospital Half and Full Marathon, and we have a community champions team that's going to be volunteering at mile marker 13.3 at the water stop. It's right beside Goodale Park. We currently have 6 people that are participating, and we need more volunteers. So if anybody has not signed up and you're interested in accruing 5 VTO hours and working from 6:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. with us on Sunday, come see me afterwards.
All right, we should also give a shout out to Felicia Wilson, who will be running the half on Sunday. So good luck to you. Okay, you know that we like to talk about goals. What was the Community Champions volunteer goal for 2019?
We had a company-wide goal of volunteering a total of 2,000 hours, and we're currently at 1,575 hours to date.
Getting really close. But we're also close to the end of the year. So what are some other things that we have coming up that people can make up those lost hours?
We have a lot of opportunities coming up with it, coming up on the seasons of gratitude and giving. You just heard Felicia talk about Toy Drive the Bus event. So there's going to be a competition and volunteer hours, wrapping opportunities at Nationwide Children's Hospital. There's going to be additional opportunities at the Dream Center. You can actually serve on Thanksgiving Day, also Christmas as well. We're going to be doing Adopt a Senior, and many more opportunities. You can check those out on daretobedawsome.com.
Fantastic. Also coming up in the send out, dial in, all those fun things. And Sarah Himes, Wellness Committee. Tell me about the book club. What's going on?
We read. We are reading. Tuesday is book club.
Better read fast.
Becoming by Michelle Obama. She's an excellent storyteller, so I highly suggest it.
What's your favorite quote or thing that you took away from the book?
So she talks a lot about self-esteem, and one of the quotes from the book says, if you don't get out there and define yourself, you will be quickly and inaccurately defined by others.
All right, book club is Tuesday? You said Tuesday. Tuesday at 11.
Go-to meeting? Is that what it's called? Go-to meeting. You don't even have to be here. I won't.
Fantastic, and you guys have a yoga class planned for us in November?
We do. We are partnering with, is it Modo Yoga, and it's on Friday, November 8th, 2:30 p.m.
Are you prepared to show us your best tree pose? No. I am.
Oh, there.
Right, I think, like that. Fantastic. All right, and what else is coming up with wellness through the end of the year?
We have flu shot clinic today. Super, super important. So starting immediately after the meeting, is it in the multipurpose room? Is it Ohio Health? Ohio Health is here to provide flu shots to everyone.
And if you have not signed up for a spot but still want to, just pop in and they will let you know when you can come back. There's plenty of space available. So, all right. Well, let's get one more round of applause for our models, our community champions and wellness committees. Also, one more event that I want to tell you guys about. Colleague Happy Hour is next Thursday. So Taylor and Allie will be sending out more information about that later this morning. Speaking of models, I had so many transitions written here, but no, speaking of fashion is what I was going to say. Becky Fromke's has some other exciting news about the fashion and the way that Dawson looks. So handing it over to you.
Now it's on. All right, nothing like following that entertainment halftime act with a lesson in psychology. Who's excited? Okay, so I love being able to stand up here and talk with you guys every meeting about our people. I literally had like the funniest grin on my face the whole time during the Good to the Core cards because it's my favorite part of what we do. And the recognition from peer to peer is just so fun to see because, the perspectives that you guys have here for what we're all doing is just, it's just really inspiring. So, but what I want to talk about today is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which please stay awake. This is actually really interesting stuff. And I went to school for psychology and never really actually thought I was going to use it. And 13 and a half years later here at Dawson, I'm using it every single day, and I'm fortunate enough to work for a company that's all about people, both on the inside and the out. So I probably do more reading about this stuff than I should spend time doing. But I wanted to bring this to your attention because we talk about how we engage with our people every single meeting that we're at, and I just wanted to hit it from a different perspective because I think it's important for everybody to understand why we do what we do. And just to kind of go through this really quick, we have Maslow is somebody who believes that if your needs are not being met at certain levels, you cannot achieve your highest potential as a person, and that's what we're here to do is to always being the best that we can, both individually and as a company. So at the very bottom level, our physiological needs have to be met. Those are our basic needs. That's food, that's shelter, that's resources, that's money, that's what you wear. Luckily, we have Susan on staff who keeps us well fed. Hopefully you guys got some of that bacon or fakin, I think is what Chris called it on the way in. I think it's real bacon though. So those are our basic needs, and if those are not being met, we can't really move on from there. That's why being healthy is so important. I know I've been on a 36-hour bender with really sick kids, and it's maybe the most polarizing thing in your whole life. So you guys can all probably relate to that personally too. So the next one is safety and security, and I brought this term up to Jeff the other day. I said, oh yeah, I'm really interested now in this idea. Everybody's talking about psychological safety, and he's like, all right, what's this one all about? So, and really that's just to say that you feel safe and secure in your environment in terms of, giving feedback. So how that relates to work is can you talk about the ideas that you have, and are you getting two-way feedback from your manager or the people that you work with, and that's the type of environment that we want to create here. The next one is love and belonging, and this is probably my favorite one to talk about because it's a ton of what we're doing here. It's about being connected, and you guys have heard me say it more than once. I say it pretty much every time I get in front of this microphone. Everybody has the desire to be connected to something that's bigger than themselves. And that's where a lot of our motivation comes from. And if you are not connected to each other, to ideas, to goals, you're not going to do very well. So that's why we ask the question sometimes, who are you friends with at work, or who do you go to lunch with? And it's concerning if you don't have connections. So that's something that we try to create here all the time. The next level is esteem. I love the quote that Sarah just shared from the book. I'm not in the book club, but I think this is a really important one. We're doing a lot of great things here at Dawson to recognize each other and build that confidence and self-esteem that we need to be successful. And our top level tier here is self-actualization. And what that's all about is really just that intrinsic motivation that you have to be able to succeed and meet your fullest potential. So to speak a little bit more specifically about how we're doing this at Dawson, as Ryan tried to transition me and I knocked him down with a psychology lesson. One of the things that we're excited to do is roll out a dress for your day dress code policy, and basically that means that we want you guys to be at work and be comfortable and aligned with the situation that you're in for that day. So a quick little story, if you guys don't know my husband John, he and I are polar opposites in everything that we do. So he is not a rule follower. And a few years ago when he was working at Business First, you guys are probably familiar, he came home one day and was like, I just can't do this tie thing anymore. I can't do the suit and tie. I show up to meetings and I am super uncomfortable. I can't talk about what I want to talk about. I put that, that top button on and tie the tie around my neck, and I'm suddenly in robotic mode, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. So I was worried he was going to lose his job. But in fact, he was having a lot more success. And there's a lot to be said about being able to be in your environment and feel comfortable. And we're excited to, open up the flexibility a little bit more about what you're wearing. And but not losing the fact that showing up to work, your body language as well as your appearance is a communication about, who you are and how you want to show up. So after the meeting today, or at the end of the day, we'll have some information about kind of what we're talking about and the expectations, but we're excited that this is something that we can kind of align with a lot of even our clients are doing right now too. So the next thing in terms of moving up our hierarchy is our needs for safety and security. And again, I talked about that in, as introducing this as having that feedback. And if you guys have ever been in one meeting with me or have ever heard me talk about anything, Lattice comes up pretty much all of the time. And this is something that we continue to want to drive for the fact that we want you to have a voice and we want you to be able to give feedback. And I've been highly encouraging the use of updates with your manager on a weekly basis because our business moves really fast and everybody has great ideas and it's hard to sort of capture those perspectives if we don't have a place to do it. The other thing that's really important to understand about this is that if you are in a psychologically safe environment, it means that your job security isn't going to be compromised because of the ideas that you have or because of the things that you want to bubble up to the surface. Like, hey, I think this could, we could benefit from a change here. So that's what we're trying to do. That's why your updates with your managers are private and between the two of you. It's the other reason, too, that most all of you in the room and hopefully more in the future have gone through crucial conversations. We want you to be equipped to have conversations that aren't comfortable but can be effective and safe. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about feeling safe and secure in your role. We want you to use your voice and your feedback for good because we know if you're in an environment where you can't do that, that's going to damper your creativity and innovation. Two things that I talk about all the time because as a leadership team and the managers and the people here who are empowered to make the big decisions every single day, we still need your feedback constantly because we can't figure it out on our own. Going up from there, love and belonging, and I talked about this as being my favorite. So something that we do monthly, if you're not aware, we are meeting the people who are responsible for managing others here at Dawson have a monthly meeting. And I mean, personally, I'm biased, but I think it's a really important meeting because it's our job to make sure that we're, continuing to develop and invest in our people. I utilize a lot of different resources to get information to share about how we can continue to improve on those skills. And one of those is actually a competitor of Lattice, but it's called 15.5, and it's basically a company that is looking at employee development and performance. And one of the things that they talked about in a recent survey was that only about 41% of managers right now are making a point to ask about emotional wellness in one-on-ones. And that's a huge miss because if you're not able to have that conversation with your manager, that's not going to be a very productive conversation because if you're not feeling safe and you're able to talk about that kind of stuff, there is really a tie to your production at work too, right? That's why people should be asking, hey, how are you doing? Over half of employees have admitted that they never even brought up a personal matter to their manager. And again, if you can't have those conversations, that's going to leave you feeling a void as well as your manager kind of wondering like, hey, we've set these goals, we've set these objectives, we've aligned, but this person still isn't meeting them. There's a very good chance it has something to do with outside of what's going on at work. 90% of the employees have admitted that they can perform better when their company supports this. So again, back to that lattice and having those conversations regularly. So when I talk about this, when I talk really about the idea of managing the whole person, this is our org chart sideways because it's big and we can't put it up and down. In our last manager meeting, I really just wanted to drive the point home that this is how we are organized. This is what we look like when we send a presentation to a client, but this is not who we are. This is just a picture of how our teams are, how our teams look. We are people who have families, who have interests. Of course, we have jobs. We're all here. We have other interests. We have experiences where there's a lot going on in our lives, and if we're not recognizing that and we don't feel comfortable talking about that, that's going to be a detriment to our success as a team. My other favorite topic in terms of colleague engagement, I talk about it all the time, is everything we're doing to try to connect you guys to one another, connect you to the goals that you have for your team, the goals that we have for the company. We understand that not everybody receives and processes information the same way. That's why we have so many different communication channels, and we want you to continue to engage with those because that's where you're going to feel more connected. Our committees, I love the fact that we are so passionate about being in the community and volunteering, and our wellness committee, I love everything we're doing, subject matter experts, education, but the true value here is this cross-functionality because a lot of us are super siloed in what we do, and we don't have the opportunity to always work with each other. Just from a business perspective, it wouldn't make sense, but this is where it does make sense, and this is where, again, that creativity and innovation is happening. So I would highly encourage you to get involved, or whether it not be on a committee, but actually participating in some of the things that we have going on. Next, if you guys are following along on the hierarchy, is our esteem level. So some of the things that we're so proud about here at Dawson is the fact that we have a lot of ways to recognize each other as peers. That's why I personally get so excited about the good to the core. If you are at this level and you are achieving, at the level of esteem, that means that you are being respected and recognized by your peers because you are meeting your goals and you're living out your values, either personal or to the organization. So that's why this is so important. The good to the core cards it's a mutually beneficial thing to do, right? So I mean, if you're giving that recognition, but that's very important. But also the receiving of it is super important to the development of everybody here. And then our Doskers, as Felicia said, most of us are focused on our outfits, and it is a wonderful time. There's also, great music and food, and for those of you who haven't been there, it is as fun as you've heard it has been. But I think it's also important to realize the heart of this entire event is because our peers are nominating each other for the things that they've seen throughout the year that they want to recognize. So that's really the importance and why we do what we do with that. Okay, last but not least, if as a company, if as a person we are achieving all of these things, that's truly where you can become somebody who's self-actualized. And what that means is you're fulfilled at every other level, and you truly can exist at your maximum level of potential. And that's what we're all here to do, right? Your motivation isn't derived from basic needs only. If you're somebody that comes to work just for the money, that is a short-term thing, and you won't have very good long-term success. And it's important, yes, but it's not your main motivation. If you are purely motivated just by the security of just having a job or feeling like you want to belong to something, very important as well, but that's not really, achieving at your highest potential. And obviously, we're all very appreciative of recognition and feedback from people, but that's also not, the thing that's going to drive you when you're at this highest level. It's truly an intrinsic motivation that can be, as you're meeting all of these levels. So that's the goal, and that's why we always ask for your feedback on how we can get better in all of the things that we're doing. So, as another effort to support the whole person, something else that we've been talking a lot about and we are super excited to adopt is the concept of more flexible working arrangements. And this is related to your, potential opportunities to work from home or hours that are more conducive to our colleagues while still meeting the needs of our job seekers and our clients. So the fact is that 53% of our company is already working in what I'm sort of calling a non-traditional way. And when I say non-traditional way, I mean, over half of you are going to multiple locations in a day or throughout the course of the week, or you're working from, partially from home or partially from an office. And many of us are already working, outside of the non-traditional 8 to 5 hours as it relates to the duties of your job. So while this might feel like a really huge shift for Dawson to say, hey, we want to have some more flexibility around this, we're truly already doing this. We are very excited to empower our managers to work, with their teams to figure out what this looks like. I have personally done a lot of research and talked to a lot of different people, as well as gotten a lot of feedback from most of the people in this room too about, what is the solution? We know a lot of companies are doing this, and there's just not a silver bullet option. But I think that's what makes it so great, is that we really want to figure out what the most flexible situation is, so that everybody is the most motivated to do their very best work. So again, I think I mentioned in terms of the dress for your day and the flexibility, we'll have some written expectations and things like that we'll add to the handbook for everybody to look over as well. So I hope you're excited about that. And then last but not least, as we continue to think about ways that we can make it better to work at Dawson, although I think personally it's pretty great already, we do really rely on your feedback. So as most of you saw, there's going to be some colleague focus groups starting today. And those of you who volunteered to participate, first of all, thank you for that. This is a casual and roundtable feedback session, all about our communication and events that we do here at Dawson, again, because we have the interest of supporting the whole employee. We will be analyzing these results over the next few weeks to create a more formal survey. So please, please, please engage in that survey. We have to know what you're thinking so that we can be better. We don't want to always be making decisions without your input. We'll also share the high-level results in the November Dawson dial-in. And then we want to be, a really great place for you to work, so much that you want to bring your friends. So this is truly an opportunity for you to share your feedback. Couple reminders in terms of education. We do have a Bullhorn Tricks and Treats class coming up on Wednesday, October 30th. At 8 a.m. So make sure that if you are a Bullhorn user, that you make some arrangements to be there. It'll be good. It'll be very effective, short and sweet, and also have treats. So why not come, even if just for the food? The Bullhorn Novo update, you guys might have heard me talk about this a little bit, but that's coming in 2020, and essentially that's just a facelift on the product that we already know. And I'll be working with some of you to help us get to that point, and that'll be early next year. And last but not least, we are definitely thinking about goal setting in 2020. So that's something that we'll be working with all of you on. Lattice has actually updated their system, and now they have something called cascading goals. So in this past year, as you have set goals in Lattice on an individual level, now we'll have the ability for everything to kind of roll up. So more to come on that. All right. Excited about where we're going, and always feel fortunate to be able to talk to each and every one of you about the development of our people. Finally, Jeff wants to leave us with some key takeaways and some more stories worth sharing from the last quarter.
All right. Thanks, Becky. I'm sure everyone will be interested in my insight after hearing all those great announcements. But seriously, thanks, Becky, for making it your personal mission and really being the driving force and making Dawson a work environment, that can really make all of us excel regardless of our, generation or our style. So, excited about that. Anxious to see the rollout, and I know that each of you will always live up to the Dawson standards set by all the wonderful leaders, in this room. I am very excited to be the first to announce that for the 8th consecutive year, we have been awarded the best temporary agency in the Columbus CEO magazine. So congratulations. It's always nice to be recognized by the community as the best. I've known this for more than 8 years, but the validation is great. I hope each of you takes pride in it, because it really is a recognition of what each of you do. As Allie shared, we are down year over year, which seems weird to say because Typically, I stand up here quarter after quarter talking about consistent growth and progress. Probably not going to be a growth year, but still a lot of progress. We're just too damn talented to be down, but we recognize areas that we need to recover and are working hard to improve them. Our strategic direction has gone unchanged. I've talked a lot about the 4 segments. If we could build a company with 4 equal powers, being the MSP group, the office division, the warehouse division, and then lumping in all the professional divisions together, really be a unique and really powerful entity that will take over the city. So I'm excited about that. In order to do this, we need to pick up in the professional divisions. I realize that. I'm extremely grateful for Emily Marshall for accepting the challenge, really creating a recruiting team filled with outstanding people who are committed to growing each of the creative, accounting, finance, and then IT divisions. In addition to building the recruiting teams, we continue to emphasize our relationship selling model here in Columbus. To the corporate leaders of Columbus, we've identified 50 companies that we don't have relationships with, and we're looking to attack them. And then we have 50 companies that we are working with, and we have to set the expectation of cross-selling all of our services. I look forward to diving deeper into this sales strategy during the annual 2020 meeting, where we will cover the product offerings, success stories, and how all of us together can grow Dawson, the Dawson brand. The fight in all the divisions, are just as critical. Sometimes you lose because you did nothing wrong, as we've said several times, but it is important to know, what changes have happened. But, we had new leadership at, kind of 3 main partnership accounts that made some organizational decisions, that severely impacted us. We lost over $250,000 in gross profit, year over year. And we've pretty much caught up to that, which is impressive. But MSP lost the Carolina Health System because the CEO ruled vendors shouldn't be around for more than 18 consecutive months. Office initially lost the BMW account when their new CEO determined that they weren't going to outsource employees anymore. And then DSW decided to outsource overseas. So, great partnership accounts that we had a lot of success in, but, I'm excited by our determination to keep those relationships intact, and I do know that BMW and DSW will be back and be better than ever in 2020 because, they realize what they had with us was something special. The warehouse and distribution division, has faced perhaps the biggest obstacle in 19. After receiving new projections from L Brands, we were significantly less than we previously committed. But like Ali said, we were able to reignite a previous relationship with Eddie Bauer, and make more of a commitment to a new partner, Abercrombie & Fitch, to fulfill their peak needs. So, I'm excited about that. Business remains strong. At some key partnership accounts, across the divisions, White Space, State Auto, Klarna, Morgan Stanley, Epic, and Cardinal Health. The fight for talent right now is, it's tough, and the ability to deliver a reliable workforce is more demanding than I know I've ever experienced. So I appreciate the account managers and recruiters who constantly juggle the art of keeping today's workforce productive. So, thanks for that, and a special shout out to Lindsay for trusting us and stepping a little bit out of her wheelhouse. I know your drive and management skills will take our office division to the next level, so thanks for that. MSP still holds as our largest gross profit market share in the company. Impressively, not only are they have year-over-year growth, but each area of the division has grown. So, it's pretty impressive. As Ali mentioned, the compliance group extended its contract with Nationwide Children's Hospital for more credentialing, and Ohio Health is now fully committed to our group managing all of the IS outsourced spend. In addition to growth in compliance and fees at Ohio Health, usage and growth managing locum services as well as increased usage of Mount Carmel and Premier Health Systems keeps the divisions moving forward. Always important to stop and appreciate the growth of a division that has grown more than 125% in the past 5 years. Once we all embrace and commit to offering our MSP services at our corporate partners, I know that next 5 years we'll see the same growth. Excuse me, sorry. Growth is the expectation, and I'm excited about the new opportunities that we are talking with. BDMs don't really like when I mention it, but, in heavy conversations with Sam's Club, Walmart, Integra Beauty, Kohl's, 4Hims, Williams & Lee, and U.S. Bank are some of the clients we're working with to bring in for next year. So there's a few things I wanted to highlight. Now happy to hand it off to Chris and Dave for their observations and closing remarks.
Chris is more of a closer, so. You missed that. He said, I'll wake him up because you'll put him to sleep. I've been dealing with that for a long time. So given today's subject matter, and I'm always a fan of some levity, I thought this was an appropriate joke to share. So, a candidate reaching the end of a job interview, the HR officer asked the candidate who's fresh out of Ohio State, and what starting salary and benefits are you seeking? The candidate replies, I need at least $100,000 a year, a generous benefits package, a day per week to work from home, and a casual dress code. The interviewer inquires, well, what would you say to a package of 6 weeks of paid vacation, 14 paid holidays, full medical dental coverage, matching retirement fund, and a brand new BMW company car? The candidate sits up straight and says, wow, are you kidding? And the interviewer replies, why, yes, I am, but you started it. I thought that kind of went in tandem with what we're talking about today. Sorry, Ryan, I went off script a little. So one of my passions is learning about different businesses and how they evolve to meet the needs of today's workforce. Baby boomers, Gen Y, millennials, and now Gen Z. The only thing we can be certain of is change. Every 6 months, I attend a meeting with others who own staffing companies, and we share best practices and ideas. The whole objective is for me to learn something new that I can bring home and share with our leadership team, and we can deploy it here. Well, unfortunately, at our last meeting, which was in September, I really didn't get any idea, except one, and that is that the best ideas that can help this company grow and become better are going to come from the people in this room. And that's a recurring theme today. You heard Becky and others say it. We need to hear from you about what we can do to be a better company. We live for innovative ideas that improve the quality of our lives and make Dawson a better company. Currently, some of the hot topics under review include the casual dress code and the ability to work from home. Leadership will work together with you and the managers to determine how to deploy these ideas. And we do hope you will continue to hope or share your thought-provoking ideas. Finally, we work hard to hire the right people. People who appreciate and understand the flexibility and the benefits we offer. We count on you to hold yourself accountable, responding to calls, texts, emails promptly, especially after normal business hours. For this is ultimately how we are measured. I thank each of you for your commitment to Dawson and the tireless efforts you do daily on our behalf. Have a great weekend, and don't forget the OSU game tonight kicks off at 8:30. Go Bucks!
Good morning. Can you use the mic so that YouTube can hear you? Oh, so YouTube can hear me. Is this better, Ryan? It's good to see everybody. I had a couple things that Ryan wanted me to share with everyone. Just a couple things. The way that people are going to find employees in the future and now I think we're seeing is going to be very different. I was told a few years ago there will be no such thing as Career Builder and Monster. Someone told me that 5, 7 years ago, and I did not. I'm like, there's no way. Well, it's here. The way that you're going to find employees is forever changed. And obviously, we as an organization are very committed to leading and being in front and being different. Part of the reason they talked about the building we got in Reynoldsburg. I got just a brief little story. I've got a few of them actually at the time. But I pushed very hard for this building. I've been pushing hard for a building, and there's several reasons why. I know that nothing makes me happier than seeing that everybody here, our leadership team, has embraced what David and I have worked hard to just dumb luck come up with or whatever, and have taken it to the next level. That's exactly, I mean, and very gratifying. That's how it's just been wonderful. One of the things that I think that I can add to the mix is I'm not afraid to take a chance, and I really pushed hard for this building, and the reason why is because our group that's going to be working out of it, they deserve a headquarters. They deserve a place they can call home. I've always felt bad when they come into this building, and you guys deserve it. And I thought that it would be a place that would be a cornerstone for what you're going to be doing next. And one of the big things was this training on forklift and learning how to do it and offering it. Nobody does that. And I had the opportunity, another dumb thing I did that I said would someday pay off is this place next door, the bunker. I told David, I said, make no mistake, sooner or later, something big that impacts Dawson is going to happen over there. And a couple weeks ago, I met a guy at a golf outing who happens to be the guy that is over at DHL. And he came right up to me, and we talked about it a little bit, and I told him about the forklift training, and he circled back to me and said, that's really cool that you're doing that. Are you guys working with us? And I said, no, we've been trying for years, but we haven't. Well, the door's open. We're going to be able to talk to them, and it's because of the forklift training that we offer. I'm sure that once we get in there, they'll see that we have wonderful people, and it'll lead to great things. My point being is that we're leading. We're being out in front. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else can do this. And when Manpower is talking to, hypothetically, Roxanne Labs, and they say, oh, this is what we do. And we go in there and we say, well, we can make our warehouse look like your warehouse. We can train people on our site. It's a very, very different discussion. And that's exactly what we've always tried to do. And I'm really glad to see that we're moving forward with that, because that falls right in line with that. The community workforce stuff is wonderful. It's great to see that we are reaching people all over the place in non-traditional ways. Again, sooner or later, it's going to come back to impact this place in a very big way. It might be 5 years from now, it might be 10 years from now. But those are the kinds of things that are opening doors for us, and they will continue to open doors for us. I've been speaking at Ohio State. The athletic department has had me in to talk to student athletes. I mean, clearly we have nothing in common. But they originally, when I started talking to them, they wanted me to talk about finding a job. And as I do with a lot of things, I changed it. And I told them, I said, I think I can provide more value doing something else. And so we gave it a shot, and it's really struck a chord. I don't know if you know this, but Urban Meyer, when he got involved at Ohio State, created this thing called Real Life Wednesdays. They've rolled it out to the entire athletic department. And what they're doing is they're making these kids, they're really helping them in many, many different ways. So when they're talking to parents of a recruit, they're saying, hey, we take your kid and we're going to give them all sorts of things and look at this program. And it's been very, very effective. So they've had me in to talk a few times to different sports teams. And two takeaways that I want to share with you that's really resonated with them. Number one is I tell these kids, don't look at what I know you got a game this week against this team, you're watching film think long term. And everything you do, think about the long term. Don't think about what's right in front of you. Think about 4 steps down the road. Example I will give you, I wouldn't necessarily share with them, but those of you remember that, a year ago, we were sitting in the conference room with BMW, and Jeff was out of town. I was sitting in there, and I knew exactly why they were here. The CEO of BMW doesn't come to talk to you until you're doing a great job. As he started talking and I could see where it was going, I stopped him. I said, I can't thank you enough for all that you've done for us. What can we do to make this as simple and easy as possible? Okay? Compare that to our competitor where they went after they left here and got in a screaming match. Okay? Well, needless to say, we left the door open for them to come back to us. And they did. And it's been a wonderful thing, and I'm sure it'll evolve to continue to be a wonderful thing. The point is, they were thinking about right now, this situation. We were thinking about what goes around comes around. Let's leave that door open and make it so easy for them. What can we do to help you? And it proved to be effective. So I tell the kids stuff like that all the time. And it's, don't think about the candidate or the person that you're interviewing. Don't just think about them. They might not be perfect for the role that you're thinking of, but you know who might? Someone they know. Their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister. Don't just think about the person that you're talking to at that moment. Think about all the people that they impact and leave them with a good impression. The other thing too is I tell them to be memorable. 2 weeks ago I was talking to the men's gymnastics team, and there's such a thing. I can destroy a brand like that. They gave me a men's OSU gymnastics nice shirt, and I'm like, do you really want me wearing this? But anyway, I talked to them, and as I'm in this room, they were working out, and they start streaming, and half of them come in not wearing a shirt, and which is weird. I mean, I was like, whoa. And if they're, they might be a little more ripped than I am, but they were great kids. And one of the things that I shared with them is to be memorable. I said, you guys have your gymnastics meets, and do you have kids that come watch you all the time? And they said, yeah. And I go, same kids or different kids? They said, a lot of the same kids. And I go, what are their names? Where are they from? What do they do? Not one of them could tell me who these kids are. So I said, you know, they're there to see you. Did you know that? I said, what would it take for you when you're walking out and you see a familiar face, just get down and talk to them and just say, hey, my name is Steve. What's your name? Talk to them. Give them a fist bump. Get to know them. Every time you walk by them, recognize them. What does that cost you? And I'm telling you to do that because it's the right thing to do. But you know what it's going to lead to? You don't know what their parents do. You don't know what their parents' next door neighbor does. That is how you're going to find a job. That's how you're going to find a job. You're going to have these people that go, this guy has been invested in my son and knowing him and knowing about him since he was this tall. I go, here's a crazy thought. They do gymnastics. Go watch them perform. They watch you perform. Why don't you go watch them? My point is be memorable, be different, and be kind. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do, but ultimately it's going to lead to something that has served me well in my life. And I think that if I could leave anything with all of you, it's that. It's be memorable, be different, stand out for the right reasons. Okay? Everybody have am I wrapping it up here, Ryan? Are we done, Catherine? It's a tough act to follow, but give it a go. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, so much for your time this morning, and thanks to all of you for coming or streaming on the Dawson YouTube channel. Look for a calendar invite later this morning for the Doskers nomination ceremony and holiday luncheon on December 13th, the 2020 Dawson annual meeting on Friday, January 10th, and the Doskers Friday, January 31st. If you're not here to pick up your copy of the send-out, you can check out the online version at the Dawson Colleague dashboard at daretobedawson.com. Don't forget to grab your new Community Champions t-shirt on the table in the hallway. We have a staff list to make sure everyone gets theirs. And remember, we do have the flu shots next door, so they're taking place in the multi-purpose room. If you didn't sign up, there are still plenty of time, so make sure to stop over after the meeting and sign up for one if you want it. We will talk to everyone on the Dawson dial-in on Wednesday, November 20th at 9 a.m. Everyone have a great day and have a great weekend. Thank you.